Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a good day. I had a good day. Today we're covering um, expose the world to the truth. That's what Jesus did, right? Expose the world to the truth. So why is the truth so important? Um, I would say it's probably the most healing thing ever. Um, if you made a mistake and you're hiding that and you're feeling that and it just feels better just to get it out and find out what the actual consequences are, because typically we have all this stuff going on in our head and we carry it with us. We're always worrying, we're always wondering, does that person know, does this person know, whatever. More often than not, you'll find that once you just release that, it's not as big a deal as you think, and you get a chance to get on the right track and start focusing completely on what you're supposed to focus on, right? So let's get into this, shall we? Processes that heal the heart will heal the world. It's the same thing. The healing process transfers into just about anything, right? And Jesus knew the truth, and the things that affect the heart condition of one person also affects the heart condition of a group or an entity, right? So when individuals come together, they they have a common interest, and a group that is a collective, a group is a collective mindset of individuals. The world is a collection of groups and individuals with varying mindsets, and if you affect one, you affect the whole group all the way up, little by little. The mission to make a world, a better place can only be achieved through the heart condition. Wars and rumors of wars will only bring the world to a broken mindset. This is unsustainable. There are natural processes that God seems to use at His will. When the end seems near, people adjust or repent. It's when things get bad, right? That's when a shift happens. So a shift of mindset occurs. When missteps are exposed to the truth, that's when all that stuff comes together. The reality that the current mindset is creating a negative result, that realization is when changes happen. In Matthew 24:6, you'll hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you're not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. What that means is the term "the end is still to come" means that you're okay. You're okay right now. It's not the end, so don't worry. Heal the one, you heal the world. Matthew 21:12, Jesus entered the temple courts, this is a famous one, and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. Pushing out the rot and broken mindsets in the temple brings the temple back to its original purpose. The same way Jesus heals the individuals, he would push out the corrupted mindset or negative demonic origins and forced them out. And that allowed healing from the goodness and the blessings that was affecting their heart condition. The processes that spread rumors of wars also spreads the goodness and blessings. Bring God's blessings to individuals who will also affect the community. You start with one person at a time. One person. That's how you affect the group. So let's look inside. Just like the outside world affects our mindset, so does our inside world. Our thought life is directly responsible for our mindset. Individual negative thoughts have a negative influence on our mindset. Focusing on multiple things from a negative perspective creates a group of negative influences on your mindset. How we choose to see every moment will affect how we interact in that moment. A mindset or operating system is equal to our spirit. Operating with a positive spirit causes us to view and interact positively with our community. Our connection to the world is through our spirit. God's goodness works through our spirit and spreads a positive mindset everywhere. Thoughts that you focus will cluster up and grow. Those things you focus on will grow. You're feeding it. When all those things start generating undesirable outcomes, reject them. Start rejecting thoughts that create negative outcomes in your life. Then start focusing on the good thoughts that produce good outcomes. Let the good thought cluster grow and into a productive mindset. To pray is to trap. Pray in the Aramaic language means to trap, to receive, to pull in, to hold on to, pull it in. So when you're praying, you're pulling in God's blessings. You're focusing on what you want, what you need, and you reach out there and you just pull it in. What we pull in and what we hold on to, and that's what we distribute to our community. So trap every thought, then hold on to the good ones and reject the bad ones. Build your operating system or mindset from what you hold on to. Give zero validation to negative or detrimental thoughts. Throw them out. Throw them out. You want to throw them out before they start steering your focus away from what is good. The truth exposed. Reality is truth exposed. Light shines on the good and the bad. We have already made the charge that Jews and Gentiles alike are under the power of sin, as in Romans 3:9. All people are equally prone to the effects of reality or truth. When reality goes well, the mindset stays the course. If reality becomes bad, the mindset is challenged to shift, right? Struggles aren't all bad. It creates change, good change. Because when things look bad for someone, be the light and shift their mindset. Show them, the reality, and let them choose their path. It's not our responsibility to walk someone else's path. let God's truth guide their footsteps. That's a natural consequence. If they're doing something that's causing something negative in their life, it's their responsibility to change their path. It's only our responsibility to show them. Ephesians 5:11 says, have nothing to do with those deeds, but expose them, show them out of goodness. Everything's out of goodness. The greater good. Be the greater good in every moment. Be a blessing to every individual that God puts in front of you. Every person you bless improves their heart condition. Their improved heart condition will then affect other people's heart condition. That process continues until someone rejects goodness. That's why it's important to keep the goodness and reject the bad. So when someone rejects the goodness that was shared with them, that stops that flow. This is why it's important to be a blessing to everyone in every moment. Every moment. Summary is every person affects another, right? Keep affecting the individuals positively. They'll become a group of like-minded individuals, right? With like mindsets, they become a group, and then the groups start affecting other groups, and they form a community of like-minded groups. So we want people with positive mindsets. Communities of like-minded mindset groups now can affect the world. It grows to like I said, until someone stops, right? A world is then changed to operate from a more positive mindset or from a more godly spirit. The Spirit of God being the good in all things. That's what we want. We want goodness. We want to live in a blessed world, don't we? And if we're blessing the world, we get to live in a blessed world. That's what all that really means. Figured out here. So I found this article in Psychology Today that I like psychology. I'm a certified counselor, and so I dabble in that stuff, and I've really enjoyed finding the principles in scripture from thousands of years ago, and then see that those same principles are applied in modern psychology, and it looks like it's something new, but it's not. It's thousands of years old. We haven't changed. We're still human, right? We're still human. So the science of Jesus. This is an article by Paul J. Zach. This is an article from, like I said, from Psychology Today. I've added my thoughts and insights in it. I put it all in bold text. The most complete definition of sin. Let's cover some definitions. The most complete definition of sin. Most complete definition of sin is anything that's contrary to God. Anything that's contrary to God's blessings. Anything that's contrary to the goodness of God. God is the greater good. God is the good. Anything that's contrary to God is a sin. So when you have blessings in your life, just pull them in, because not pulling them in is a sin. They're there for you, right? They're there for you. Then let's look at the term moral. In the cultural context, it's not like we think, like the difference between good and bad. It's about what's beneficial. If you look at all the listed sins in the Bible, they're contrary to the community. They're contrary to the greater good. They're not beneficial to anything. If they're not beneficial, don't waste your time on it. That's really what it means at the end of the day. Now, granted, that's a short, definition or whatever. But that's the truth. So let's get into this a little deeper now. This is the article. The essential element of morality is nearly every philosophical and religious tradition is social. Your needs are as important or even more important than mine. It is these caring actions that sustain us in social groups by demonstrating that we are cooperators, that we'll help others and not just ourselves. When someone helps you, your brain releases oxytocin, and this signals you to reciprocate. So let's look at this a little bit. When you're looking at this, it's not new material. It's in the scripture. And also, John Nash from MIT had a famous paradigm shift. It used to be that the military would use this, and many other businesses would use this. Everybody takes care of themselves, and you have a strong community. But he said it's not true. It's incomplete. Everybody take care of themselves, then the community. Because if you have 5 people and only 4 rations of food, everybody takes for themselves. One person goes hungry completely, and that person will eventually fade out. And now you only have 4. It's not a sustainable model, right? Those who don't behave morally are ostracized. Something that is maladaptive or highly social, maladaptive or highly social species like ours, the 7 deadly sins are deadly because they remove us from the community or our brethren. We don't like to be around those who are greedy, lazy, gluttonous, and all the rest of them. So we avoid them, right? So, all that's just common sense. You don't want to be around people that have negative effect on the community. The group doesn't form. This is what I was trying to say before. Like-mindedness grows together. If you have a group of negative people, negative mindsets, they eventually completely break apart because they turn on each other because it's negative, right? It's destructive, and it won't hold. So the oxytocin had been known from animal studies to facilitate birth, breastfeeding, and care of offspring. It's earned its moniker, the love hormone. What was new about this guy's experiments was showing that in human beings, love not only included one's mate and offspring, but extended to the complete strangers. Even strangers that they'll never meet. This is another little definition I put in there. Love at its core is a commitment of goodness. It doesn't matter what kind of love, whether it's physical, emotional, whatever. It is a commitment of goodness. If I say I love you, you can be assured that our next communications are going to be positive, good ones, right? And hate is the opposite too. Because if I told you I hate you, of course, our next communications are not going to be so good, right? So this brings us back to Jesus, the new commandment that Jesus gives the apostles at the Last Supper, to love others as I have loved you. In other words, to love indiscriminately. We are supposed to love indiscriminately, no matter what. We're all fallible. We all had our own mistakes. We all had our own stuff. We make mistakes. We're all on a journey. We're figuring it out. When that action is producing negative results, we do something different. That's what I was saying in that previous part, right? The change happens when things go wrong. You make an adjustment. When things are good, we kind of glide sometimes, unless we're actively seeking better, right? This was a radical departure from the Old Testament eye for an eye stuff, you know. That was really pushed by the Pharisees and the other religious leadership at that time. You know, to love God because he commands you to do so. It even goes beyond the golden rule and tells us to treat others as equals to ourselves. That's what we're supposed to do. The Old Testament was Jesus showed us how to view God as a relationship instead of a loving relationship, instead of a dictator or whatever, right? I think this is this guy talking. I think Jesus was the first hippie. He loved those who thought that was unlovable, the criminals, the prostitutes, the lepers, and the slaves. This guy's oxytocin experiment showed that nearly all of us have the capacity to love everyone. I agree with that. We all have the capacity. We just need to get our own garbage out of the way. Just see people for who they are in here. We all have this layers of life. We're just trying to figure it out. In here is a real person that was born just like you were born. The only question is, will we do this? You know, the key to loving everyone is to understand that we all came from the same place. We all came into this world the same way. Our parents have different circumstances, different socioeconomic situations, along with varying ideologies, etc. Each one of us has to navigate all of these variables. We are all on a journey just trying to figure it out. We are just at different stages of that journey. That's all. One of the important findings in this guy's report is that his book, The Moral Molecule, is that those who release the most oxytocin are happier. Their happiness comes from having better relationships of all types, romantic, friendships, and with family. These oxytocin adapts are even nicer to strangers they will never see. But that's the big take home. Loving others makes us happier. But how do we learn to do this? Most of us learn to love by receiving love and observing others showing it. This includes being nurtured by parents, watching our friends, learning about someone who loved everyone. Yep, that's Jesus. And of course, you got other religions too, like Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, you know, all these icons out there. You know, they're pretty good moral exemplars too. I think Christianity and many other religions have persisted because they provide a narrative on how to live a fulfilled life. We're all seeking fulfillment, really, at the end of the day, aren't we? What we fill this with is what we put out into the world. If we fill this with stuff that's not good, we're going to put not good stuff out into the world. So just be a service to others. Show others compassion, even in difficult people. And to spread love in the world. Spread goodness. Commit goodness to the world. He says, confession. I love churches. The stained glass echoes the smell of incense. Several years ago, he visited St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. And on a Sunday evening during the Vespers, he was brought into tears. He said he has run experiments in churches and temples during dances and sporting events, found the rituals caused the oxytocin release to about 60% of the participants. Rituals including religious rituals, including religious rituals, are not going away because they bring us closer to others and perhaps closer to loving ourselves, just like the hippie who lived 2,000 years ago and loved everybody indiscriminately. Of course, he's talking about Jesus, right? So that's all I have for today. Thank you for checking it out, and you have a blessed day.